Hi guys, welcome back to my Genshin back video. In this video, you will find the best partner for Ayaka when you try to build a party with her as your core. There are three rules or criteria on how I pick her partner. First criteria is they can trigger freeze reactions easily because one of her best artifact set is Blizzard Strayer. So having huge AoE and long-lasting hydro effects on the field are crucial. If you need a guide for Ayaka artifact sets alternatives, check the link on the comment or video description. Second criteria for her partner is 2 Cryo characters in a party. This way, you are gonna get an extra 15% critical rate and be able to recharge her 80 energy elemental burst faster because of more cryo elemental orbs. And finally, the third criteria, they able to boost Ayaka overall damage, direct or indirect. What I mean by direct is like from buff and elemental reaction. For indirect, it is such like grouping enemies closer together. One thing to consider here is you probably don't want to trigger melt or other reactions which can remove freeze stats from the enemies, because that means you will lose 40% critical rate. So let's deep dive into these characters, starting from the first criteria characters, Ayato. He is brother of Ayaka, so it's no wonder he complements Ayaka really well. Ayato Elemental Burst has huge AoE and long uptime. This way, you can easily inflict freeze on enemies. Ayato also can act as your secondary or backup DPS. And remember, Ayato Elemental Burst also boosts your normal attack damage if you like to use your normal attack. The next one is Kokomi. As the best healer on the game, she will help Ayaka survivability. And her hydro applying capability is probably the best in the game. So it is easy to freeze the enemy, okay? Really, if you have Kokomi, use Kokomi. Next, Xingqiu or Yelan. Yelan is not released yet, but her burst, it's kinda similar to Xingqiu. I don't say about damage, okay? Because I believe Yelan probably better in terms of damage, but in terms of hydro applying capability, they are about the same. Xingqiu burst and Ayaka normal attack can easily perma-freeze the enemy. So if you love using Ayaka normal attack, Xingqiu is probably the best budget hydro character for Ayaka. And remember, Xingqiu also can heal you and reduce damage taken. Okay, so really nice support. Now let's move to the second criteria. We need another cryo. So we have 2 cryo characters. That way we get 15% critical rate. And the very best cryo support is Shenhe. She's the best, okay, on the game for cryo. If you have her, then you must pair her with Ayaka. She can boost your normal, charge attack, elemental skill, and elemental burst damage. Her burst also stays on the field for 12 seconds, so it is helpful to freeze the enemies which you are not focused with, okay? So if you, let's say, for example, you bring Ayato elemental burst hits multiple enemies on the field, but if you cannot attack all the enemies, this gonna freeze them in the place without needing Ayaka to bother. Okay, very nice. And if you don't have Shenhe, I believe you have Diona. Diona with sacrificial bow, R3, R4, R5. She's one of the best cryo batteries with that weapon. You can use her hold elemental skill twice in a row, which generates loads of cryo orbs. The shield generated also helps Ayaka survivability. The elemental burst also heal and has a nice AoE. Combined with the hydro appliance mentioned before on the first criteria, you will have lots of frozen enemies. And finally, the next one, Rosaria. Rosaria is quite interesting because she can increase your party critical rate through her passive. Okay, but yes, I know the number may be small because 15% of Rosaria critical rate. So that means, yeah, only 15%. And I don't think it's easy to increase her critical rate to 100%. So let's say you're able to make Rosaria critical rate into 50%, which is pretty doable. And yes, that means 7.5% critical rate boost combined with Cryo party resonance bonus. That means extra 22.5% critical rate. Very good for Ayaka. That way you can focus on critical damage. And also, Rosaria Elemental Burst is quite nice. It has, yeah, very small AoE, but it stays on the field. Okay, so very nice, okay? And now let's move to the third criteria. The first character is Bennett. Bennett, he will always appear on every DPS best partner video I made on this channel. There is nothing to hate about Bennett. He can heal, boost your attack, and become nice battery for your party. Definitely a must-have character on Genshin Impact. The only bad thing about Bennett is he can cause melt reaction. But since he doesn't constantly apply pyro, okay, for example like Xiangling Pyronado, I can say it's okay to use him with Ayaka. And next one, Zhongli. Maybe MiHoYo gonna nerf shield in the future. But even if they nerf, remember that Zhongli reduced 20% resistance. So he will increase Ayaka damage. And at this point, I can still say that Zhongli's shield is still very, very powerful. Okay, next, Venti, Kazuha, or Sucrose. These three are always great to have. They can clump enemies together, which make your burst and elemental skill hit enemies easily. And as animal character, they can equip Viridescent Venerer. This means you can reduce enemy cryo resistance, which results in more damage for Ayaka. And finally, the last one, I don't think she is that needed, but still, she is worth mentioned. Raiden Shogun. She is the best battery in the game and always good for high cost energy burst characters like Ayaka. Okay, so that way you can use Ayaka elemental burst faster. And if you don't have Raiden, then don't worry because you can simply use C6 Fizzle. But again, I don't think Electro is good composition for Ayaka or Blizzard Strayer set users because they're gonna inflict superconduct, which dispel your freeze reaction. So yes, I think stick with freeze. Okay, and those are the 10 best or maybe more characters you can pair with Ayaka. Like the video if you like it, okay, and find it useful, and subscribe plus ring the notification bell so you don't miss new videos from this channel about Genshin Impact. See you on the next video, guys.